let's learn about a class coming under Arthropoda. Before going into the class, we have many subphylums coming under the class, the phylum Arthropoda. The subphylums are subphylum Trilobita, subphylum Crustacea, subphylum Selicerata, subphylum Uniramus. Now today I'm going to take a class which comes under the subphylum Uniramus. Yes, the class Chilopoda is one of the class coming under the subphylum Uniramus, which is also called by the name Opisthogonita. And why the name Opisthogonita has come, we'll be learning in further details when we move on forward. So these are the salient features of the class Chilopoda. As the name suggests, they're popularly known as centipedes because the name itself says that they have hundreds of legs. Century in the sense 100, and peds means legs, so they have number of legs up to 100. They're nocturnal, that is they're active during night. Now when we talk about their feeding habits, they are predaceous carnivore in the sense they eat dead organisms. They mean feed on other organisms, so they are basically carnivorous. Okay, so they feed on dead, not dead actually, they feed on animals, so they are carnivorous, and they feed on another organisms, they make their prey, so they are called predaceous. Now they are terrestrial, they have segmentally paired legs and spiracles. Yeah, this means see, this is a body of arthropods. We know arthropods are basically segmented, and here in centipedes, from each segment arises a pair of legs and spiracles. A pair of legs and spiracles from each segment. Now they have dorsal gonopore and posterior gonopores. Sorry, dorsal gonads and posterior gonopores. Now talking about their habitat, they mostly live in moist environment because they don't have a waxy epicuticle. So to prevent the loss of water, they require moist environment. Now they are found in tropical and temperate countries, and basically they are found in any kind of elevations. They could be sea levels or any heights. They are found in any heights, and most basically going into depth, they are found in soil, humus, underneath stones, and inside barks. There are up to more than 2,800 species being found under the class Chilopoda. Yeah, this is a picture of a centipede. Centipede is, when you see the picture, you could point out a lot of points, right? From each segment, as you could see, there is a pair of legs arising from each segment, right? Now, this is a differentiation between the class Chilopoda and class Diplopoda. This is another class coming under the subphylum Uniramus itself. So, the class Chilopoda, also called as the centipedes, in the same way, the class Diplopoda is also known by the name millipedes. Now there is a differentiation between both these classes. When we talk about the class Chilopoda, they are basically carnivorous. But in case of Diplopoda, they are detrivorous. Carnivorous means they feed on other animals, and then talking about detrivorous, they feed on dead and decaying organisms. Now, in class Chilopoda, they are fast-moving forms. They possess hundreds of legs, but still they are fast-moving. But in millipedes, they're slow-moving, in spite they possess millions of legs. Surprising, right? Yes. Now talking about their antennae, they have long, many jointed and terminally tapering antennae. And in Diplopoda, they have short, club-shaped antennae with fewer joints. Now their legs are lateral. Here their legs are ventral. And the first pair of legs are modified as poison claws. Yes, this is an interesting feature which comes under the class Chilopoda. See, if this is a picture of an centipede, their first pair of legs are being modified in such a way that they form a circular ring, which is basically modified as a poison claw. Claw in the sense legs. Their first pair of legs are being modified as poison legs. Okay, so this is basically for their protection against enemies, right? Yes. Next we have in case of Diplopoda, poison claws are absent. Instead, they have sting glands. Sting glands are also kind of gland which provides their what to say, prevention or protects them from enemies, right? But here, in case of Chilopoda, since they have poison claws, their first pairs are being modified as poison claws. They don't need any kind of sting glands. Okay. So next, talking about the gonopore is placed posteriorly. Next. Yeah, in case of Diplopoda, their conopods are placed anteriorly. Here, next talking about the mouth parts, there are three pairs. The three pairs are mandibles, first maxillae, second maxillae. And the second maxillae are fused form of labium, right? So the mouth parts are basically three in number, that is mandibles, first maxillae, second maxillae. And talking about the second maxillae, they are fused to form labium. Here, in case of Diplopoda, the mouth parts are, there are two pairs, that is mandibles and the first maxillae. They lack a second maxillae, and their first maxillae fused to form a natociliarium, right? Then each segment are monosegment, that is, from each segment there is one pair of legs and one pair of spiracles coming from each segment. But here in this case, each segment are diplosegment, that is, from each segment there arises two pairs of legs and spiracles. See, as we have told, if this is a chylopod, from each segment a pair of legs and spiracles arises from each segment. But here in case of Diplopoda, since the name suggests that from each segment there arises two pairs of legs and two spiracles from each segment. Hope this is clear. Then moving on to the next thing, we have a picture of centipede and a millipede. So in case of centipede, they are dorso-ventrally flattened body, but in case of millipede, they have a cylindrical body, much balloon-like, bulged in the sense. Okay, then yeah, you could see number of legs in case of millipedes, but in case of centipedes, they have legs up to 100 in number. Since you could suggest the number of legs arising from millipedes, since the name itself suggests that there will be millions of legs arising. This is again a picture of a millipede and a centipede. Then let's move on to its example, which we have to study given the Calicut University textbook. Scolopendra is an example, which is a centipede. So let's learn. Salient features of Scolopendra. They are nocturnal, predatory carnivore found in tropical and subtropical countries. As we have learned in the salient features of Chilopoda in common, the same salient features come under Scolopendra. So there's nothing much to learn beyond that. They live in soil, beneath stones, bark, and logs in moist and damp areas and human dwellings. Now, Scolopendra gigantica, tropical American species, which is the largest of centipedes. Among all centipedes, the Scolopendra gigantica, which is an American species, is the largest. Then, yes, this is a body differentiation of a centipede. Basically, we are going to learn about Scolopendra. So this body is long, flat, and divisible into